Hi, I'm Bebe.
And I'm Stephen.
And we are
Just Another Knitting Podcast.
Welcome, welcome. Here we are again. We've got a lot to cover today, so I will try not to be a motor mouth, but I'm just aware of all of the stuff we need to do.
Yes, welcome if you're new. And if you're returning, thanks for spending some time with us again. We really appreciate it.
Yes, and we've been watching our subs and views go up, and we're super happy about it. It's not our goal, but it's kind of, it's flattering to have the idea that you guys want to actually watch us, and so many amazing comments from the last episode. We asked you to comment on what your favourite hat was, and we got so many lovely comments. It was kind of my daily task to go through them all, and it made me so happy.
Yes, no, the comments are great. I mean, it's also really informative. You guys have got some really great tips.
Yeah.
And also some really good ideas as to, what directions we should go on various patterns.
Yes.
I certainly have fully intend to knit or have a good look at some of those patterns that you have mentioned.
Yeah,
it's great.
Which we'll cover off at the end.
Yeah.
So, at the top of the show, we wanted to start with the draw. So we said that there would be a draw for so people could win some yarn. And we have done that. So we put everything everybody into a spreadsheet, and so it's closed off now. And drew out a winner from that with a random number generator. So drum roll, we can say that the winner is the YouTube name is Bunny Gerber 2650. So we'll put some information in the description box, which is where our show notes are, for getting in touch with us, Bunny. So it's just to email us, and we'll get your contact information so we can send you your yarn. And
let's have a look.
Yes, this is what you have won. So we were so stoked that when we announced that we were going to do a giveaway, Deborah from Outlaw Yarn contacted us and said she would love to donate some yarn to us to give away. And so she has generously provided us with this gorgeous yarn for you, Bunny. It is... it's called Rhapsody, and it's 80% merino, 20% New Zealand possum. And we've said before that possum in New Zealand is a endemic pest that kills our local bird life, our native species.
Yeah, and the trees as well.
Yeah, and is very destructive to the environment. So in New Zealand, it's a hunted pest, and so it's. I mean, yeah, I don't know where you stand on animal cruelty, but is what it is. But the possum is used in a lot of garments in New Zealand as like a byproduct of the process of culling these possums from the environment. So anyway, back to the yarn. This is beautifully soft, and we kind of thought the theme of the winner or the draw was around hat, so we thought we'd provide you with 100 grams or 200 meters of yarn, so you could make a hat or a nice little something out of that. It's woolen spun yarn, and designed for a needle gauge of 3.5 to 4 mil needles, so somewhere between I would say somewhere between a fingering weight and a DK, so fingering to sport.
Yeah.
And the colourway is called See Right Through. It's a beautiful kind of oatmeal colour, would you say?
It is, yeah. It's the it's almost like in the natural colour.
It's the natural, yeah.
Yeah, so it's got a blend of different colour sheep, and it's the possum that makes it a little bit darker. When I was actually picking the yarn
absolutely beautiful.
I went into Outlaw Yarn, and I got given a little bit of a tour of the dye house as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a little bit of footage. Deb was very kind and let me take some footage of
you were so
the
lucky.
dyeing process, which I'd never seen before. And a picture of their wall of yarn and the results of their dyeing. So we'll just put a little montage together at the end of this video if you're interested, to have a little bit of a look at one of Christchurch's local yarn shops and local dye houses.
Yeah, so thank you very much to Deborah from Outlaw for supplying us with this prize, and congratulations to Bunny. And then, because we had actually set aside some yarn to provide to a winner, we decided we would that we would provide a second gift to a second winner.
Yeah, this is the one I kind of let slip last time.
Yeah, which was supposed to be a surprise. And we were kind of watching when the subs were coming up and ticking over 1,000, so we know who the thousandth subscriber is, and that is Lisa Dudley 4780. And so congratulations, Lisa, you are also a winner, and we again will provide you information with how to get a hold of us to collect your prize, which we will mail to you anywhere in the world. And we had set aside a kind of hat quantity, sorry I'm just moving this around, of this beautiful yarn, which is undyed, what is it? It's half-bred, which is a New Zealand specific sheep called half-bred. It's half merino, half something else that I can never remember. We'll put a little bit of information about the yarn in the show notes.
And that's the chocolate colour, isn't it?
It's undyed.
Yeah, but
the colourway is
is it the
chocolate.
It is the chocolate one. So that's the naturally dark, and it's the much sought after chocolate colour that everyone here in Christchurch managed to sell Wild Earth yarns out of. And it's also the same colour as I used on the inside of my beloved cardigan.
Yes. So we thought it would be lovely to give somebody a bit of a taster of very, very much New Zealand yarn. You're not going to find this anywhere else. The half-bred is a New Zealand sheep. The sheep live in Canterbury, where we're from. So the wool comes from a local farm here, and spun and processed and locally as well. So, and that's from Wild Earth yarn. And it's 2 8-ply balls, which are
4 mil? Yeah. Is that what you're looking for?
No, I'm looking for the length of yarn. It's 50 grams per ball, so you get 100 grams of yarn, which will be...
It'll probably be a couple of 100 metres.
Yeah, maybe a little less.
Yeah,
per ball.
Heavier weight.
Yeah, so you should be able to knit a hat. I checked some of the hats that you guys had been talking about, just to make sure you could definitely knit a hat, and I actually knit a baker's hat out of about 1.5 balls of this, so I know you can knit a hat out of it.
Cool.
Yeah. So congratulations to both of
well
you.
Done.
And we just wanted to say also, we've been really enjoying all of the comments that have come up on the hats, as Stephen said. I got tons of new hats. I don't know, I feel like I'm just going to be knitting hats all year now. I mean, I need to focus on my goals. I've got my 20 in 2025. But tons of really awesome new ideas, some good colour work, some cables, some nice plain ones that I hadn't seen before. I have to say that the most popular were number 1, Musselburgh.
Yep. Surprise.
Not surprising. The most popular hat
and number 2
garment
what
on
was number 2?
Ravelry, the Oslo hat, which honestly I've watched so many people knit this and I thought, I just don't know if I'd ever want to knit that. It just seems like so much knitting and such a faff.
Oh, you haven't knit an Oslo hat?
No, I have not knitted an Oslo. But I, like, by the end of reading all these comments, I'm like, I think I need to knit this hat. And then the baker's hat was also, my baker's hat was also a favourite. And that's one I've knit a few times now. And then a whole range of others. So feel free to go back an episode and have a look at all the comments if you're interested, because there are tons of really good pattern ideas.
Yeah, that's great. I'm looking forward to getting into it. For sure. Right.
All right, so let's actually get into the show then.
Yeah, what are we wearing?
Oh, yeah, with what we're wearing. What are you wearing, Sam? You've worn that before.
I have worn it before. Like I said, I think I've kind of cycled through, but Yeah, we're actually filming after work, so this is what I wore to work
Work
today.
attire.
So work attire, yes. This is First Raglan Sweater by Jared Flood. This is the one that we had a conversation around the prickly yarn. So it's La Bien Aimée Corrie worsted in the Eric Northman colourway. And
Really nice colour.
it is. It's a fabulous colour. I just love wearing this jersey because of the colour. It doesn't pill. It kind of felts a little, but you can just kind of pull it off, so it's not too bad. It's easy keeping it clean, so in good looking order, I suppose. And
it's a really nice fit. Like, it's a really well designed pattern, I think. Although we said last time that you don't really like the four.
yeah, the raglans are a little bit wide.
The wide raglan, yeah.
Yeah, and it could be a little bit longer, and so on. But
There's always something.
there is always something. So I like it. It's I'm used to the prickles, so it's all good. So
Yeah.
that was me. What are you wearing, Bebe?
I am wearing something that I designed myself. Not that I am a pattern designer, but a few years ago now, Ethan, who owns a local yarn shop here, Get Vlogged, he ran a class for making an improvised top-down raglan. And the idea is that you take your body measurements. So you kind of need to know your measurement from here to get the raglan, your arms, your arm depth, how your arm around, your upper chest, your chest, and your all of your measurements, your waist, hips, whatever. And then you can use mathematics.
Yeah, how was that?
I think I got a combination of you and Ethan to do the maths for me. I understood what it was, but it kind of confounded me a little. And you do in doing that, you pick a yarn, you pick a gauge, you do the maths to match the gauge to the measurements that you have, and then you knit a garment. And I must say, this is one of the best fitting garments I own.
Wow.
And it's one that I wear often and absolutely love.
Yeah, I do see you wearing it a lot, and
lot.
I'd forgotten that was the one
Yeah.
that you'd sort of improvised.
Yes. So it's knit in. I bought the ball of yarn actually because I want to talk about something else. So this is obviously the Outlaw yarn show.
It is today anyway.
This is one of my very favourite yarns. So this is called Bohemia. It's a combination of alpaca, possum and polworth. So it's 45% polworth, 45% alpaca and 10% possum.
Yeah, so you can imagine what that feels like.
So soft, but also because it's got the polworth in it, it's still quite structurally sound because the alpaca makes it really soft and kind of drapey. And it's a sport weight yarn, which I really like. It's a very good in between. It's now for me not warm enough to wear fingering weight yarns, right. But it's not quite cold enough. It's the middle of summer, but it's not quite cold enough to be wearing DK and worsted weight yarn. So this is a middle ground for me.
Yeah, and let's be honest, summer this year hasn't really been terribly flash.
No, it has not. So this is the colourway Trinket. You can't get this anymore, but this is one of my, kind of like candy pink is probably my favourite colour. Often when I wear this, I'm wearing a jacket this colour, my phone is this colour, I'm wearing a watch band this colour, I'm wearing socks and shoes this colour, and I go into work and people are like, okay, it's pink day, because it's one of my very favourite colours.
Fair enough.
It makes me very happy to wear this. Anyway, and designed by me.
Well done.
Using maths.
It looks great too.
Thank you.
Right, where are we up to? Finished objects.
Yeah, Stephen.
Actually, it's been a very quick couple of weeks this week.
It has come around.
Or this fortnight. We've been quite busy. And so, I don't have any finished objects, not even an eagle feather.
I did wonder whether I hadn't seen you doing any,
no,
so I wondered if you had done any.
I've been hard out going on She Shader, which
we'll get to that.
Which we'll get to, yep. And I'm not even going to mention the other unmentionable because I don't even want it to show up on the icon or the caption.
Redford. Okay.
It's sitting quietly in a bag.
In the naughty corner.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna finish She Shader. I need to get that done and dusted. And then I will move on to other things.
But that's not what we're talking about.
That is not what we're talking about.
FOs.
So I have none, sorry. Not this time.
I have some.
Yay, thank goodness.
We'll start with the littlest one first.
This is where I get really shown up.
No, not really. I knit a hat. So let's start there. I call it the Franken-hat because it's not a pattern, it's just made up by me. So it's got a little top on it, and obviously for a baby. So our local women's hospital, our maternity hospital, put the call out for baby garments a week ago, and so I thought, I can easily knit up some baby stuff. And so I'm going to just knit a whole bunch of these little hats. They take me a couple of hours to do. And I wanted to be able to experiment with different types. So this one, I really like this one. It has a 6 decrease pattern, so it's quite good for weird shaped baby heads.
It's quite decorative too.
I quite like a flat hat, rather than a pointy hat. I'll do a few different ones, but I particularly like this. And I kind of thought this colour was very kind of now. I think, young mums want nice neutrals. It seems to be the colours that are in at the moment, kind of greyish and beige,
right?
Neutral toned colours. So I thought a lot of the babies. So actually, I should say the babies in our maternity hospital are given a hat when they leave the hospital. So they and some of them will get blankets and matinee jackets, little cardies or whatever as well if they're available.
So one piece of knitwear per baby.
Oh well, they definitely get a hat, but
right.
But I'm also able to knit hats and other blankets and other things. So I'm going to stick with hats for now. But yeah, what a lovely thing to do, and because we've just had a grandson come from the hospital wearing somebody else's knitwear that some person lovingly made for the babies at the hospital, I thought, well, that's easy for me to give back something by knitting some as well.
Lovely.
And we'll talk about what this yarn is when we get to acquisitions later.
Yes.
Love this yarn. I haven't blocked this yet, but I will do.
Anything else?
Yes.
Well, there we go.
Here it is. I finished Blessipper. Yay. It is done.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Should I put it on?
You should, definitely.
I wore it to work yesterday. And I got tons of comments on it. Somebody said, oh, you're wearing a grown-up sweater. I was like, what on earth do you mean? Because I usually wear very bright, colourful garments, and this is quite muted by comparison, I'd say. Just trying to stay away from the microphone.
Yep.
Now, here it is. I'll stand up so you can see the fit. So this is Blessipper by Gudrun Johnston, and it's knit in, I made a note so I wouldn't get it wrong, Wild Earth yarn Aspen in the colourway Cherry, and I also have just a skein of it here so you can see it. So this is it here.
It's a very popular yarn and a very popular colour.
Yes.
As I say, in this household especially.
Yeah, we were wearing the same, different jumpers in the same yarn yesterday. So this is the 8-ply, but this one's knit in 4-ply. And here it is. It's, I think, my perfect fit, really. So it's kind of a nice length, nice width for me. I kind of like that loose drapey look. And the only thing that I did differently was I knit the sleeves to pattern, but I actually knit the cuff quite a bit longer. So instead of being just your usual cuff length, I can't even remember how much.
Ordinarily they would be this long, like 3/4 sleeves, or would they be
it was, I don't know, mine ended up drooping quite a lot. It was designed to be at the elbow.
Right.
When completed, so there, but I've got...
It's a lot of poof.
Yeah, my row gauge was obviously way out.
Yeah.
And I decided to knit the sleeves, the cuffs longer, so that it would create that nice. I just really love that effect of.
It's almost like
the
Victorian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the pattern on it as well.
Yeah.
It makes it look sort of vintage.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. So I knit instead of like you normally do somewhere between 8 and 12 rows, I did 52 rows on each sleeve.
Oh, that's very dedicated.
Yeah, it was a lot of knitting, but well worth it. So I have to say the best pattern I've ever knitted.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Props to Gudrun.
Yeah. So knit flat. I never thought I'd say that about a knit flat garment.
Oh yeah, you had to seam it.
Easy to seam. It was 2 squares. So the seaming is on the up the sides.
Yeah.
And there was a selvage, so it was easy to do. For the seaming, I know how to seam a garment. I just don't like doing it, and I really don't like seaming when you're trying to match two knits that aren't knit the same, like one going that way and one going that way. I just, I find it stressful, or setting in a sleeve or whatever else. But this was super easy, just seaming 2 squares together and then picking it at the sleeves, pick up.
Right.
And knit.
So no setting in or anything.
No.
Wow.
Super easy, and no, like you can't even see really where that. I mean,
No.
you can, but.
But you've done a really good job of that.
Thanks. Yeah, I absolutely love it. What can I say?
Well done.
It's probably my favourite knit ever.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like I said this on a previous show when I was knitting it, but I feel like the pattern is designed to make you happy to knit it. Like, it's easy to knit, the pattern is repeatable, but it's still really interesting. The wrong side rows are all knitting instead of purling, because it's the right side rows are what is it called, reverse stockinette. And the pattern looks complicated but is actually really easy, and yeah, it just flew by as well.
Wow.
Although I have to say the sleeves were almost as many stitches as the body, so it was like knitting 4 bodies.
It did take a long time for the sleeves.
Sleeves I can usually do in a day or 2,
Yeah.
and these sleeves took like a week each.
A week each? Maybe it was 2. It felt like 2.
It was 4 weeks in total, so it's not even possible.
Yeah.
Oh, there was no complaining though.
No.
Only when I got to the cuffs. The
Not
cuffs
much.
were a bit of a slog, because I just wanted to be finished at that point. Anyway, very
Awesome.
happy with this.
Cool. And that was all the finished objects? Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. Right, moving on.
Moving on, Stephen's our timekeeper. He knows he's got to edit all this.
No, it's fine. So next we're up to whips. So I've got something to talk about.
Yay.
Although admittedly it's not new, but
Well,
anyway.
for people tuning in for the first time, it is new.
Well, that's true. So I will go through the whole thing. So
Yeah.
I am currently in the process of very monogamously knitting She Shader by Jade Starmore, and it's a textured reverse cardigan, I guess is the best way to describe it. So this is what I've done. This is my progress for the last 2 weeks. It may not seem like a lot, but there's quite a lot of knitting in here. So this is the arm. Here we go. It basically has these zigzag patterns. And I'm just about up to the decreases for the underarm. And then I just need to knit the sleeve cap, and I'll be done.
For me, it's for me.
It is. It's for Bebe, not for me. It's way too small for me. So here's the other arm. So this is a completed arm, which will obviously need to get seamed and set in. So that's going to be fun. We all know how much I love seaming. And lastly, this is the body of the cardigan. So this is the front. It has a 2-colour pattern on the front, and then for the button band at the back, the colour work is going to be steeked. So there is a steek here. I've never actually done steeking before, so you will have recently seen Bebe taking a foray into steeking Seaton. So it's going to be my turn. I'm not sure if we'll film that or not, but
Surely we have to.
this is genuinely will be the first time I've ever cut my knitting with intent.
It was the second time I'd ever done mine.
Yeah, well, I have cut my knitting before, but that was to remove unwanted length and try and salvage a damaged project. So that is She Shader. I did think, though, I would just spend a minute maybe and just talk about my experience knitting this. It's actually a really fun, and I say fun, pattern
It's
to
really
knit.
absorbing, like you've been very absorbed by it.
It is. I mean, you can see this zigzag texture pattern, which is effectively all over the cardigan. But what it means is that no single row is exactly the same. Every row is different, which is also good.
Sounds horrendous.
Oh, it sounds bad, but there's a silver lining.
You and I just are the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to what we want from our knitting.
There's a silver lining to this, is that you always know if you've made a mistake. So
Right.
you're only one row away from spotting your mistake. Very seldom have I knit over stitches incorrectly and not picked up that things are going horribly wrong. And then the other thing that's really good about this is it's got natural row counters.
That's true.
So every repeat is a set number of stitches. So I know that my left arm and my right arm are exactly the same number of rows because
I
I've
need
got
to do
the
that
same
careful
number of
counting.
ridges. So yeah, all I need to do is count the ridges to get to the right points. And when I'm doing the increases and the decreases, again, it's just count the ridges and you know exactly where you are. So yeah, it's like, I feel it's a touch of genius really in terms of the pattern. And it's honestly, it's made it so much more enjoyable. You know, other patterns I've knit, you know, you're constantly trying to keep a track of rows with stitch counters and things, and you know, I have put them in here just because I am a little bit lazy, but you don't need them. It's just a simple row counting mechanism. So yeah, sad how excited I got about that. But there you go. Yeah, it's an unexpected benefit, and I suppose texture patterns, you know, might have that kind of benefit as well, particularly
Yeah, well,
if
certainly this was easy to keep account of where I was.
different. Yeah. So that was my whip. It's pretty much it beyond future plans for me. So what are you knitting on now that you've finished Blasipa, Bebe?
Well, I finished my hat that I was doing, but I do have another hat, and that is the muscle burrow, because I needed to find out what the hype was all about. So I'm making good progress on it. I will say that it can be a bit of a slog. Like, this is really good for grab and go knitting, and I have been using it as that. So it will take me a while to get through it because you know, the conditions have to be right. I have to be going to a meeting that I can knit in, that I want to knit this in. And I, you know, as Stephen said, we have been quite busy, so I haven't had a chance to. But anyway, so it's coming along. I haven't measured it for a while, so I don't know how far I am, but I must be getting there. Really love this. I'm really looking forward to wearing it. And the yarn is by Kiwi Yarner, who's a local hand dyer in Christchurch. Beautiful, the really nice variegation. I just absolutely love the way this looks.
Yeah, for variegated yarn, and I know how much you love it, and I've said it before. At least the difference in the contrast on that isn't too stark. It's it blends and melds nicely.
Yeah, the colours are nicely balanced. So well done, Rebecca. It's a beautiful yarn. I absolutely love it. And so that's whip number 1. I've got 3 whips.
3.
Next whip is. This is back out of
Hey.
hibernation, back into being a whip.
Very publicly out of hibernation.
Yeah, so I filmed steeking this the other day, and then after that I picked up the collar and finished that so that I could. I'm going to put it on.
Yeah, do that. I mean, briefly, because I think you'll cook even.
No, it's fine.
It's a little bit warm in here, but
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. Warm
It
for the
looks
first time today.
really amazing. I mean, yeah, at a distance, that the colours on that really snap lovely.
And look at my colour work.
I know, it's so good.
Yeah, it's like wearing a carpet, I will say. It's like it's prickly. I mean, it's not prickly, it's
Rustic.
rustic, but yeah, it doesn't prickle. I had a really good chat with somebody about why yarn prickles. He works in the wool industry, and he gave me a whole rundown of it. And so it doesn't prickle, but it is very rustic. but it's also soft. Anyway, so this is it. Without the sleeves. So I'll probably start the sleeves this weekend. But steak is done.
Well done.
And if you haven't seen the video I filmed it's about 15 minutes of me just chop, putting in the crochet reinforcing and then actually cutting the armholes up.
It went
just
really
so you can
well.
see what it looked like. Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it
Yeah,
did.
there you go, spoilers.
Yeah, and I'm very pleased with this. Yeah, so this is whip number 2, and I really am hoping that I will get this done in the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure I'll have it finished for the next show, but maybe the one after that, because I think the sleeves might take a wee bit of time being colour work.
Full on colour work, yeah, and in small circumference.
Yeah, and I've just, I'm quite busy at the moment. I've got a lot going on in my life, and I'm just going to put a whole other sweater on now.
Yeah, miscellaneous jersey number 3, finished object.
Oh, this is not a finished object. This is. I mentioned this in my everything I knit in 2024 because it's my very favourite sweater, and it's just sitting in this room, so I thought I'd put it on.
Fair enough.
This fits into the category of things that I can wear in the height of summer.
Right. So.
It's an Andrew Murray pattern, so the sleeves are really tight.
Right.
So I need to do adjustments to make them fit. Yeah, she must have the tiniest arms. Like, I'm not the first person to mention that Andrew Murray patterns always have tiny arms, tiny sleeves. Anyway.
Right, number 3.
Whip number 3. So, I am dedicated to my 20 and 25, and the next thing in the list was, well, that I shuffled to the top of the list because I wanted to knit it, was the I'm just going to read my notes. Simple Sweater by Tin Can Knits. I keep calling it all kinds of things.
You do.
They have the basic beanie, the simple sweater, and then the everyday socks.
Yeah.
And it throws me every time, and I can't remember which one goes with the everyday, and I should be able to remember that.
Yeah.
But so this is a simple sweater.
Yeah. If you want to have a bit of a chuckle, go back through the catalogue. Look at those patterns and then just zip to where they are, and you'll see the differences between what comes out of the mouth and what the caption says.
Because I've knit most of them.
Yep.
Well, I've knit all of them actually, and I call them a variety of things. But anyway, they have a World's Simplest Mitten, the everyday sock, the basic beanie, and the simple sweater, and it's a nice little kit that you can buy them as a bundle, and they provide, and you can use them in the app, and they Tin Can Knits. And they provide newborn to 5XL in each garment, and in fingering / sport weight, DK weight, and worsted weight. So what an amazing bundle. Like, basically you could just knit that for the rest of your life for everybody you know in any weight you want, and you'd be away. Anywho, so in my 20 and 25, I said that I was going to knit this using a different yarn. So where shall I start? With a different yarn or with this?
Start with that.
Okay, so this is knit in Cecia Mistral, which is, I mean, you're not going to really see much, a 100% merino yarn, superwash, and it's an Italian yarn, so I kind of feel naughty because it's not a New Zealand yarn.
Yep.
But I wanted something that was just really, part of the reason I'm wearing this is I wanted something like this, like what I'm wearing. I absolutely love this garment.
Sorry, hang on. Refresh my memory. What's that one called?
DRK Everyday.
Right, so they are different.
By Andrew Murray.
Yeah, that's
but
right. Small
almost
arms,
the same. Yeah.
I was going to say, I was just looking at it and I was thinking the characteristics were very similar from what I've seen on that so far.
So, top down yoke. The difference between them is that Andrea does rapid increasing with a wider gap between the increased rows, whereas these are uniform increases more regularly. Right. So this might have, I don't know how many rows between the increases, it might be 20, whereas this is every fifth row, every fourth row, 1, 2, 3, 4, the number one is the increase row, you increase 16 stitches. So it creates you won't really be able to see it, but no, you can't.
No, but maybe if you go on Ravelry and have a look at some of the pictures, is it that like the?
Or you could put a picture up, actually.
Or actually, that's a better idea. Why don't I do that?
So here's a picture of what it looks like, and
It'll be over my head. So
and it creates like a uniform column of stitches, of increased stitches, which I really like the look of.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I've never seen sort of the imperfections in like of increases. Those little noticeable gaps and things being used decoratively. So.
Well, see, even this one, you can actually see the increases.
Yeah.
And somebody said to me, "Oh, it's got a lace pattern in it." Somebody at work, and I'm like, "Oh, it's not supposed to," but yeah, all right. But yeah, they could see the pattern. They saw the increases as patterning in that one as well. Anyway, so I've started this. I'm almost at sleeve separation, so I've done the whole yoke, and I have optional short rows that I can do now, which I'm going to do. So the short rows at the bottom of the increases, and then you separate for sleeves. So I'm making the yoke depth a little longer than this one, but not too much, because this is actually quite a good size.
Right.
Could do with a little bit more length, but not tons. So and that's what I have here. So I'm at almost at sleeve separation now. I'll probably do another 4 or 5 rows just to get another centimetre of depth, and then I'll do short rows, and then I'll be at sleeve separation, and then it'll just be stockinette in the round.
Whoa.
In black on 3.5mm needles till for the rest of my life.
Yeah, until you get bored and start another work.
No, that's not going to happen. Or only baby hats. Anywho, somewhere here, I've got stuff everywhere now. I originally intended to knit this using the Spinster's Daughter fibre, and if I pull it back a bit, then you'll be able to see it. So this yarn, this is it, is from the United States, and it's spin cycle yarn, but it's dyed by the Farmer's Daughter fibres. So spun by a spin cycle and dyed by Farmer's Daughter's fibres. And I love this yarn. I love spin cycle. I have 3 jerseys that are made in just spin cycle, and then I've got some colour work jumpers as well made in spin cycle, and I just really love it. But we've talked occasionally about variegated yarn, and I just have trouble accepting colour change.
It's personal choice, but it's not worth the anxiety.
Like I like this because it's really obvious, but I struggle when the different skeins of hand-dyed yarn are different colours, and people talk about alternating skeins and all of that kind of stuff, but you can still tell a tonal difference as you go down a garment, and that just hurts my brain. I struggle to accept that. So I decided a while ago I should stop knitting with variegated yarns or hand-dyed yarns that had very different colour differences between skeins and within skeins. And so I originally intended to knit the simple sweater in that yarn, and you can see here, if I cover up Steven's face, there we go, that it is tonally quite different. And what I can see in here, and you probably can't, but if I can see it, then I don't care what anyone else thinks, is that there is a line just about here where I actually changed skeins. I balled up 2 skeins, and I knit part of it in one skein, and then you can see where I changed it, and then I did helical knitting, so-called, it's not in the round, but I did the switching of the yarns to see how it would look, and I can still see a really clear line in the knitting. And I just decided that not only would I be worried constantly, well, I would be worried constantly as I was knitting this that I was going to get a line, and so the whole thing would just be about me complaining about that. Stephen didn't want that. I didn't want that.
So she picked black.
So
perfect.
So I decided that I could very happily use this with a mohair, and it would hide that variegation. So I'm quite keen to go get some knitting for Olive. They have a zillion colours, and I'm sure I can find something to match this with a nice white silk core that would pull out the white flecks of this nicely, I think. But
do you have a pattern in mind?
Nope. No, because it's not in my 20 and 25, so
future plans.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Stephen's wrapping me up, I think. Enough said that I did the swatch. I was sensible. I prevaricated over it for an evening. I was like, I could do this, I could do that. I'm not sure what I want to do. I really love this yarn. I really want to knit with this yarn. But I also have 2 sweater quantities of the Cessia, which has the same feel for me. It kind of fulfills that same...
It's squishy.
It's squishy and superwash and kind of easy to wear, no pilling, completely unprickly. I can wear it against my skin. It feels like cotton to me. So I decided I would just go with the Cessia. And I had two colour choices. So Stephen moves his head. I had the choice of knitting with purple or black, and I chose the black.
Well done.
Yeah, so short story long.
Well, hey.
And that's all my whips.
Okay, so that's the knitting stuff.
Yep.
Future plans?
Yeah, so, do you want to go first?
I will.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously finish She Shader, do the eagle collar.
Yeah.
This is starting to sound like a cue. Then I want to very much do Jade Star Moore's colour, all over colourwork Feral jersey called Glenesque.
Yeah.
I remember. Sorry, mind blank. So those are the order. I'm going to kind of stick with that because I really want those garments. But we do read your comments. And there are, as I said before on hats, there's a lot of really good suggestions in comments. In the comments. And so one that I particularly noticed was Grist by Jared Flood. That looks to be a really well-designed men's textured pattern. It's a sport weight pattern, which is interesting. I kind of like the thinner yarns, but not too thin, so that'll be good. Knit on a 3.75mm needle.
The fingering weight of this is what I just knit my Blesper in, and you could definitely knit this at sport. It could be a sport weight yarn.
Yeah, something like that would be kind of nice.
Because it's really poofy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously Blesper stitch definition isn't too bad either.
Or
maybe, although being textured, that might be a wee bit soft. So I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, Grist, thank you very much for the suggestion. I apologise, I can't remember who mentioned it to me, but I saw it, I looked in Ravelry and I was like, ooh, that's really nice. So I think I'm going to give that one a go. And so once I'm an old man and I've finished Glenesque, I'll be starting on Grist. So that's what my future looks like. What's
I'm just very quickly looking up. It's Constance McConnell is the person who suggested that to us. So thank you
to Constance.
Constance for suggesting that. It's really good to get men's patterns, garments that are designed for men. Jared Flood is really good at that, and I would say Maxim Sear also has some really good men's patterns. And I like knitting for the men in my life, and it's really nice to find some really good patterns that are made for a male body.
Well, I've also found some podcasts as well with some male knitters as well. I think there was it Jimmy Does Knitting has got I know, random podcast, but he's got a number of episodes with interestingly a number of the patterns that I've knit as well. So I've kind of just been working my way through and comparing notes, so to speak.
Yeah, it's quite good, eh?
It is. It's good when you can kind of see the things that you've done that other people do as well. So yeah, what about you?
Future plans. So once I finish my simple sweater, I will be, and Seaton, I will be cracking into the Vega Vest, which is from the Shetland Wool Week annual, and it is, I'll just get a picture of it, this one here, just to remind you. So it's a vest with a buttons, like a tabard with buttons on the side, so cute. And I picked out the yarn for this a while ago. It's like all over the floor now. And I decided I had colour options that I was going with, but I'm going with these 3 colours.
Yeah, and you have swatched those as well now.
Yeah, I've swatched them together and I really like them. I had a choice of switching this out for a yellow, but I actually found that the colours kind of didn't blend very well together. Even though the one has a yellow in it, I just really like the way that these 3 look together. So this one is the colour I already have in a jumper. I've knit this into a jumper as well that I absolutely love. And then the, nice oatmeal colour. So again, these are Outlaw yarn Bohemia, which is possum, alpaca, and Polworth.
Is that Bohemia Light?
Yeah, Bohemia Sport.
Sport weight.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. That's my next. My future plan is the next thing in my queue, which is, so I'm going to be doing colour work.
So after your
after the simple
sweater will be bigger.
Vest.
That'll be exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I know, and it should be fast because it's a vest.
Yay!
It must have a steek in it. It's either a steek or I have to knit colourwork flat.
Have you not read the pattern?
No. Anyway.
Yeah. So while you do that.
Yeah, it just occurred to me. I'm pretty sure it's a steak. Please be a steak. I don't want to knit colourwork
It should
flat.
be a steak, eh?
Yes, it is.
There.
Now I'm an expert at steaking.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Right. Acquisitions.
Yeah, okay.
We mentioned that we were busy.
Yeah, so we went away for the weekend.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Normally we film on a Sunday, but it's actually Wednesday of the following week, so we were away all weekend. We live in the South Island of New Zealand. We went to the top of the North Island of New Zealand, which is usually like a tropical paradise. It was kind of cold and windy and rainy when we were there.
Yeah, it was more like tropical storm.
Yeah, which was a bit sad. But it was still beautiful, lovely location. Really love going to. We went to Paihia, which is where the Waitangi Treaty grounds are. So the Waitangi Treaty is the Treaty of Waitangi is the founding document of our country. It's signed between the indigenous population, the Māori, and the Crown in 1840. And so the treaty, the place where the treaty was signed is now somewhere you can go and visit and learn about our history.
It's a very historic place for New Zealand. And just across the bay you can see Russell, which wasn't originally called that, and that was actually it's a sort of an old 18th century sort of style town, much like some of the sort of little towns you might find in sort of rural England or coastal England. But it used to be the first capital of New Zealand, and there's plenty of stories of events.
It was the Wild West with the kind of sailors and whalers and settlers and indigenous people all trying to kind of learn to live together. Yeah,
it's a hugely interesting place and well worth a visit if anyone's in that area.
Yeah, so we went there for the weekend, and that gave us the opportunity to drive from Auckland, which is New Zealand's largest city, up. It's a 4-hour drive up to the top of it's not even the top, but most of the way to the top of the North Island, and we visited 2 yarn shops. One was both in Auckland, one in Takapuna and one in Parnell. So we'll do the Takapuna one first. So that's where I got. We just popped in to have a look. So the place is called Wild and Woolly Yarns. Got this cute little bag, which is good. We don't usually have plastic bags in New Zealand. They've been banned in New Zealand, but this is a great little project book bag. I can use this for hat or sock knitting. And I got some Cecia, my favourite yarn. Some Nordica, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere, so I was really pleased to find this. So this is the DK weight version of the Cecia, same as the Mistral, which is a 4-ply, and I've also knitted in the bulky weight with like a 12-ply. I've knitted a couple of garments in that, but I hadn't actually knitted with the DK before, so that's what I knitted the hat in from the Wild and Woolly. So that's what I've got left. I've got enough, I think, for another hat. I just need to weigh the hat and the ball to make sure I've used half of it. So that was acquisition number 1.
Oh, I forgot my acquisitions.
What did you buy?
At the next place. Never mind.
What did you buy?
Bought some hooks. Repair hooks.
Okay, I think we can probably just describe those.
Okay, yeah. Repair hooks. Yeah, a little pack of 4 crochet hooks.
So next we went to, well, we got that, and then we went up north to our holiday, and then we came back. We went to Lupine, which is in Parnell in Auckland, and I've been wanting to go to Lupine for years, and have never been able to, so it's a gorgeous little place with a whole wall of Cecia mohair, which I was very happy about. And the owner of Lupine also has a podcast, so we'll put the information about her podcast in the show notes below. I can't remember what the name of it is right now, but we'll put that in the show notes with everything else, because she has a really great podcast, and she's a prolific knitter. And she's just done a wrap-up of everything she knit in 2024, so really interesting. Anyway, so we went to Lupine, short story long, and Stephen got some...
repair hooks.
Repair hooks. So Knit Pro, were they Knit Pro ones?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they have like a point on one end and then the crochet hook on the other.
Yeah, I figured I'd been stealing Bebe's crochet hook for my dropping down for
really
way too
annoying.
long. Yeah, so I've got my own now, so...
Yeah, and I had left mine at home, so it was very useful to have one. And then I also got this from Lupine. So this is alpaca sock yarn. I'd say 6-ply. I'm assuming that's somewhere between a sport weight and a DK. Because by plies they don't mean the plies of the yarn, they mean the thickness of it, because it's how wool gets measured in New Zealand.
Yeah, it's 150 grams for 387 metres.
Yeah, so, and this is 70% alpaca and 30% nylon, designed for socks. They have a fingering weight version of this, a 4-ply, we would call it. But I had knit Stephen some socks. I knit Stephen and I some DRK everyday socks a while ago, and I love mine. They're possum and merino. I still wear mine all the time when my feeties are cold, but Stephen blew through the bottom of his, like,
it was about a week and a half, I think.
Yeah, it's so sad. And honestly, I didn't want to repair them.
Oh, I thought you'd said that they'd gone to live in another family.
Because honestly, stop. Yeah, they've gone to live at the farm.
Oh, no, with the sheep.
Yeah, with their mum and dad sheep. Anyway, because honestly, he was just going to burn through them again, just because the yarn wasn't really designed for socks. And so, and it wasn't very... I tried to salvage the yarn, but it wasn't actually salvageable either. So, they went to live in their happy place, and I thought... But I still owe Stephen a pair of socks now, in my mind. I'm sure he doesn't care, but... so I got this so I could knit him a pair that might last longer than a couple of weeks, but that have the same kind of feel as that possum and merino. So the alpaca is very soft, and the nylon will keep the good structure of the yarn, and hopefully mean that he doesn't wear through it.
Yay. It's a great variegated kind of green too.
Yeah.
So.
The colour is just beautiful. It's like got that really nice earthy green with the yellows, kind of that heather
Heathered, that was what I was looking for. Yeah.
Very lovely. So I'm going to look forward to knitting that once I kind of have one resting project at a time. So it'll be the muscle bar plus some baby hats, and then when I finish the muscle bar, I'll start on a pair of socks just in time for winter is what I'm aiming for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that covers everything.
Yeah, I think it must do.
We're not doing too bad. I mean, we've still got to have a bit of a look around the Outlaw dye house and things. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. One thing I did want to do, and I'm springing this on Stephen because I haven't, we've both been at work, so we haven't had really a chance to talk about what we're going to do today.
Is it like knitting 20 questions?
No. No, I just thought it would be good to talk about some of the podcasts we listen to or we watch. Because we do a podcast, but we are also big watchers of podcasts.
YouTube is our television.
Yeah, pretty much. And probably I'm 50-50 on home renovations, and knitting is mostly what I watch.
Not that we do home renovations,
no.
But it's good to watch.
Yeah. Or travel is the other one. And if you combine all of those, I'm in my happy place. Anyway, so I just thought that, I've watched a couple recently that I really love and I thought I would talk about. So we've also already talked about the lupine one, which I've forgotten. And another one is Adventurer Knits. New knitter, started knitting in March last year and has filmed her journey, Renee, and I just absolutely love watching kind of the bravery that somebody who's learning how to knit just kind of launches themselves into it. And because I feel that way too, like when I'm knitting the blade slipper, it felt really scary, and watching somebody else who's like, I have no idea how to do this, I'm going to just do it and see what happens, has made me a little bit more brave to...
Adventurous.
Yeah, exactly. A bit more adventurous in my knitting, and she really inspired me to put some of the things in my 20 and 25. So I want to knit a flax, which I've looked at for years, and she knit one and I'm like, I want to knit that. I really love that garment, and she's knitting another one at the moment. And just to be a little bit more brave about the choices that I'm making in the garments that I make. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. I quite like the idea. Like, big podcasters don't need our help. Like, the Grocery Girls don't need a shout out from us. But us little podcasters, maybe if we support each other,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd mention that, and maybe we'll just mention one or two
every
each
now
time.
and then.
Yeah, each time we...
Yeah, because you are really a regular watcher. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much all day, every day.
Awesome. Right. Now are we...
I think I've said enough.
We're done? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for watching, if you've made it this far. And if you haven't, you can't hear me saying that. So.
And if you're new and you haven't subscribed, do feel free to subscribe so you get notifications about our future episodes. We really appreciate every subscription, and we celebrate every single one.
We do. Yeah, it's like high fives.
Yoo-hoo.
Yeah. And likes.
And likes. Yeah.
That sort of thing.
And comments. We love hearing from you. So feel free to do that if you want to, but don't feel any pressure.
Yeah. And stay tuned for a bit of a look at Outlaw yarn.
At the end of the show.
Yeah.
So until next time, ka kite.
Goodbye.